The Winnipeg Jets just did the unthinkable, as not only did they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins like we expected, Kyle Connor got in a fight with Sidney Crosby. We're going to break down the crazy part of this game, discuss Kyle Connor's insane game, as well as discuss Connor Hellebuyck continuing to shine. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, we're a new channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. If you're watching and enjoying the daily Jets content after every single post game, we're doing news videos every day. Hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500. So scroll down if you're not subscribed, but 94% of you aren't. Hit that button. And without further ado, let's dive right into this video. What a win for the Winnipeg Jets. What a win for the guys. I mean, coming into this game, the big storyline was how are they going to start their long, brutal, stressful road trip that they have upcoming, and we'll dive into all that. But let's just start with the game. And if you watch this game, we'll get into the impact chart here in a little bit, but what a game from Kyle Connor, who got the Gordie Howe hat trick nonetheless. What an absolute masterclass of a game by KC. Had a goal, had an assist, of course. Also had a big fight against Sidney Crosby, and the fight didn't last very long, but that is something that, wow, do you rarely see at any level. Seeing Sidney Crosby in a fight, that's his first fight in years. I don't know the exact stat. Someone let me know down below. I thought I heard 2014, but let me know the last time Sidney Crosby fought. It would have been a while ago. But I want to start with giving my praise to just the way this Winnipeg Jets team has continued to battle. And again, heading into this game, they're not really coming off adversity. They, of course, had their insane start to the season. They lost a couple, but they also, bounced back really well. And coming into this game, the big storyline was going to be how well can this team bounce back? Are they going to be able to bounce back in the sense of, hey, they lost a couple games, they played great, they had a couple days off, and now they're coming off a couple wins in a row. Can you just have a statement win against the Pittsburgh Penguins? And we broke it down in our video earlier today. They needed to have a statement win against this Pittsburgh Penguins team, and quite frankly, this, for one, I just want to acknowledge how bad the Pittsburgh Penguins are. They are a horrible team right now. They really showed no fight at all. Not too many high danger chances against Connor Hellebuyck, who stopped 17 of the 18 shots for a .944 save percentage. Not a ton of high danger chances at all there against Connor Hellebuyck. And again, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're sellers. They're not a very good team whatsoever, and they're going to continue to probably be a pretty bad team for the foreseeable future, which is kind of an interesting loop about this. I wonder if Kevin Cheveldayoff and the front office and the boys have been looking at some Pittsburgh Penguins players. Now, whether that is the defenseman, we made a video on Evgeny Malkin a couple days ago. It's all kind of coming to fruition in the sense of it's a very interesting proposition. It's a very interesting proposition to see if the Penguins could be perhaps a seller to the Winnipeg Jets. And of course, they saw them tonight. Some players are good, some, not so much. They don't have too much. Again, the Jets have made trades with the Penguins in the past. The Rucker-McGroarty trade for Braden Yeager. McGroarty's not looking very good at all. But speaking of this game again, Kyle Connor was the absolute star tonight. But Vladimir Nemestikov had a phenomenal game. He got another goal. Nino Niederreiter. Like these guys, Nemestikov and Niederreiter, a couple guys we got at the deadline a couple years ago. Phenomenal pickups by Kevin Cheveldayoff. And we all knew that, coming into the season. But to see how well this team has been playing, like this game wasn't even close. Gabe Vilardi got on the board again. We discussed him in our video earlier today. He has been unbelievable. Gabe Vilardi has been one of the best. He's been one of the best forwards in the NHL. But regarding a supporting role alongside Scheifele and, of course, him playing on the right wing alongside Kyle Connor on the left wing, like, you can't ask for much more. He comes out tonight, he gets a beautiful goal against the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course, but I'm just impressed with the way that this team has stayed composed. But before we get into that, again, if you watch the game, you would have saw this crazy fight, and the Winnipeg Jets Twitter said, better than Paul versus Tyson. And, I mean, honestly, it was, because Paul versus Tyson was horrible, but it was interesting. Things were getting a little bit chippy. You rarely see Kyle Connor fight. You rarely see Sidney Crosby at all fight. But again, it was a battle. I'm sure Sidney Crosby is frustrated to a degree because of how bad his team is. I'm sure there's a bunch of different things kind of going on there. But what it ultimately comes down to, we got to see something that we rarely see with this Winnipeg Jets team, and that's with Kyle Connor, that is, and against the Pittsburgh Penguins, is a fight. And it fired up the team. Of course, they're on the road, so the Pittsburgh Penguin crowd, if you watch the fight, was electric. And you never see Sidney Crosby, who is going to remain a Pittsburgh Penguin for the rest of his career. All signs are pointing to that. Fight. And to have a fight, to win a fight, he won quickly, dropped Crosby very fast, to get an assist, to get a goal, to be the best player on the ice. And you look at the advanced metrics, aside from Neil Pionk, we'll get into in a minute. I haven't really touched on the blue line yet. Kyle Connor was the best forward on the ice tonight. Just an unbelievable game offensively. And again, I want to dive into something here in a minute, take away from this game. But, I mean, we look at these score impact charts, and everybody and the team is playing so well that even the guys at the bottom are still doing fairly positive. And it is the guys you would expect, which we'll dive into in a second here. But again, Nikolai Ehlers with a great game. Dylan Samberg, great game. Cole Perfetti, a very solid game. Kyle Connor there at basically the very top, but Neil Pionk with a phenomenal defensive game. And if you watched Neil Pionk's, again, his offense is always something that people talk about, but his defense this year has just been absolutely phenomenal. And for him to go from what he was a couple years ago, even defensively, to this year, we've seen some drastic improvements. He didn't score a goal tonight, but he was a +2. And just his winning puck battles, being on the forecheck, back checking, every single aspect of his game tonight came to fruition. You can see here the defense was very good. The offense was, of course, great as well. He's always good facilitating, but he didn't put up a point and was at the very top of the score impact chart. For that to happen, you really have to play some very interesting and good hockey. And again, it's at the point now where you look at the fight, you look at everything that happened. Neil Pionk being at the top. You had Mark Scheifele have a bit of an off game for Mark Scheifele's standards, and it still results in a Winnipeg Jets win. A dominant one at that. You see Connor Hellebuyck playing very well. You see Kyle Connor playing very well. And you're at the point now where you look at the two bottom players at that score impact chart. It was Hayden Fleury, it was Colin Miller. The future for the Hayden Fleury especially is still up in the air. I think he had a fine game. I don't think he's looking great though. And as the Jets continue to probe the trade market and see what players that they need to specifically to grow into a championship or Stanley Cup, I guess, contending team, is Logan Stanley / Hayden Fleury's spot up for grabs. I see a lot of you guys in the comment section saying that Logan Stanley's spot is very open. It needs to be taken by Ville Heinola, who is, again, probably going to make his debut sometime soon for the season. So as things continue to grow on that front, rumors are going to continue to escalate. And with each game where you see Hayden Fleury at the bottom of the score impact chart, I mean, a lot of that's because, again, he's averaging the least minutes. He isn't very experienced. They probably would prefer to have Logan Stanley out there, and that's why he skated today, is for that exact reason. But as you continue to look at it deeper and deeper, I see a real world where they make a trade for a third pairing blue liner, sorry. And maybe, again, for a fourth line center or something like that. But even then, the fourth line is still looking solid. You have Rasmus Kupari looking great. You have Morgan Barron looking solid. They didn't have phenomenal games tonight, but still. And then when you're getting contributions from even the third line, second line, like Nino Niederreiter having a phenomenal game, Vladimir Nemestikov in the second line having a phenomenal game, as those things continue to develop, continue to get production out of Nemestikov in the second line, Nino Niederreiter, things are starting to look better. You really start to debate, hey, this Winnipeg Jets team is for real, and I don't see a world where they don't make a strong push. And it starts with another game tomorrow against the Nashville Predators, which are a very good team. And ultimately, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Winnipeg Jets in that game, because in all likelihood, Eric Comrie is going to be starting that game. And he's been good so far, I believe, with 3 wins, 3-1. Or 3-0, actually, I think. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this. The Jets team is looking good. They're looking scary. And ultimately, I'm on the bandwagon. At least Jets fans are on the bandwagon. I think this team is going to go very, very far. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. See you guys later.